your name? What do you do?
Hi, I'm Akshay Panse. I'm the co-founder of Cloobot Inc.
And what does Cloobot do?
So we are a Gen AI startup. We are building Agentic platform to automate the implementation of Salesforce projects.
I see. So what problem are you addressing with this?
So anybody who's used Salesforce knows that whenever they want to implement it for the first time or they have already been using it and wants enhancements to be done, it is extremely slow, complex, time consuming, resource consuming. It's frustrating for business users. Why can't I get this change done faster? So we are basically using agents to do these things faster. So 10 times faster, 10 times cheaper.
And what do they do now before agents? Do they have to go to a consultant, maybe the company that sold it to them and done implementation? And what are some of the frustrations
Absolutely.
related to
So
that?
typically what happens is that larger companies have the resources to have huge in-house teams. So they have business analysts, architects, admins, developers. So it's a whole army of teams just managing Salesforce. But the small and medium businesses, mid-markets, they rely on a lot of consultants. So you have the likes of Accenture to the lot of boutique consultants, and thousands of dollars are being spent just to maintain it or to implement any small change. So there's a lot of scope for efficiencies so that things can be done faster, and the ROI from Salesforce license can be realized. So that's what we're doing.
So you think like people who've done research, they go to G2 or they look at reviews, they would know that Salesforce has this problem, yet they still buy. Like, how do you explain that? And then don't they realize they'll get into this from doing research, or?
So what happens is that the typical problem is that Salesforce has become very large and complex. Over the past 10, 15 years now, it has been building capabilities and after capabilities.
And is that organically or also inorganically, right?
They've acquired a lot of
right.
acquisitions and also Velocity was acquired so that Industries Cloud could come up. So by default, it's become a big elephant. And then you can't move an elephant easily. The agility goes away. So it's a beautiful product. There's no problem with it. But it's like a Lego brick today. It's not like a standard product that you just plug and play. So typically, if there's a small company which has just started, 2 employees, 3 employees, they as well go to a HubSpot kind of product. But if it's a growing company and then they have their customers function, they have their customer support, sales function, then a product like Salesforce is beautiful.
So it's basically gone from a CRM to kind of enterprise infrastructure,
correct.
almost an ERP type of.
It's almost an ERP. You can do pretty much everything with it. But that's the challenge. With more built, complexity has increased, and then no single person knows how to do it.
Right.
So that's why I think agents can create a lot of value.
So Benioff has talked a lot about agents recently. He's basically saying, I'm not going to hire engineers. I'm just going to get more and more agents. And obviously he's overplaying that, maybe playing a little catch up in terms of with other competitors. So can you explain what he's doing and then and what problem is he addressing? And then does that address the problem that you're looking at?
Yeah, so what they are trying to do is create the AgentForce ecosystem so that once you have Salesforce implemented, then you can use the power of AI to automate your processes as a business. So suppose you have a huge customer support team, and then by using the agents deployed, the customer support can be automated. So the AI can take at least 60 to 70% of the work. So it is helping the business, but all of that will happen after you have the implementation done. So even implementing AgentForce needs consultants. So that's the pain point.
And so is it just through automation and connecting, like traditional automation, or where is the agentic element in terms of customer support and all of these types of things?
Like, so this thing is relying on the data cloud and all the information which Salesforce is already storing across these various modules. So it already knows what the customer business is, key processes. So when the visitor on the site for e-commerce company comes and they want to ask questions about their pricing or if they want to make some availment, Salesforce has all the know-how to guide that agent to automate the task. So suppose it's a banking use case and I have lost my credit card. It will automatically know Akshay is the customer, this is his details, and this is the card he's lost. It will authenticate it immediately and then process the backend to reissue a card without a human being involved. That's one of the use cases. So they are creating a lot of these capabilities so that the processes for the front end will be automated. But what we are trying to do is make Salesforce automated for them. So make it easy.
So what are some of the challenges of that? Can you explain like a use case, I guess, for some of the challenges that they would face?
So think of Salesforce like a Lego brick today. And even if you draw parallel with a building, when you have to erect a building, even if you say physical building or a Lego brick building, you need an architect who would design how many stories of it, how much of space it will require, and you need to think of too many things of what fits together, how. So those are the typical challenges which will require a whole software development life cycle. You need a business analyst who sits with the business user, understands the processes, what are their typical pain points, what are the things which are being done manually which have to be automated. So that's a whole business requirement process. That's just one challenge. Then the challenge is then translate that into solution on Salesforce. So then there's a gap between what the business analyst knows, but they know the business, but they don't know technology adequate enough. So they will pass it on to an architect who knows Salesforce well, but not business well. So then there's a communication translation gap oftentimes which happens, but then whatever transpires, they would then try to design it and then give it to the admins and then developers to complete it. So this process would take from 2 months to 2 years based on how complex the building is. So with AI agents, now you can have agents for a BA, agents for an architect, agents for a developer, admin, which is already doing the groundwork. It is instantly analyzing information, creating the BRD, user stories. It is giving it to the architect agent, which is then creating the entire design. And the humans involved, the subject matter experts, are just doing review, course correction.
So I know how I interact with the VA, right? You ask me questions, I'm on the phone, sends me an email, gives me a spreadsheet, I fill all this stuff in.
Correct.
How do I interact with an AI agent VA?
So it's exactly like a ChatGPT experience. So when you're talking on a Zoom call and you have a transcript recording, so you just upload that as an attachment, or you just type it out when you're talking to the client. So the person would say that, okay, I'm a non-profit and I want to manage my donor management or beneficiary management. So, okay, what is your typical process like?
So it knows what questions to ask based upon the business case.
So it knows the industry, it knows what Salesforce can do, cannot do. It will start asking questions, and every time you feed some information, okay, tell me more about it. And typically a BA would probe deeper to have much better discovery. That's what this AI is doing. It will ask questions, it will give recommendations.
So as a customer, that's better than dozens of spreadsheets that I'm always asked to fill, like, another spreadsheet and then another requirement. So it just smooths that out faster.
It smooths that out faster. So it will tighten it, it will then always ask, okay, have you got it right? And then once it creates that entire document, you then say, okay, this is something which has been missed. It will have that corrected and then pass it on to the next level.
And so we hear about, like AI's anywhere from 30% to 70% accurate, and kind of failure rates and mistake hallucinations and all of that. How would I know as a customer when I'm reviewing it? What do I look for? I guess it's just like a normal BA, right? I get the thing and I look for mistakes or whatever, right?
Correct.
Is it similar, or do I have to be, as a customer, more aware and educated and skilled at figuring out where are some of the mistakes that an AI has made?
So as far as the initial leg of business requirement is concerned, that's still okay because the business knows their process in and out. Nobody knows better than them. So whatever this creates, and what it is also doing is discovery, because there are a lot of times you tell your problem, but no single person will give you a 100% picture.
Right.
So there will be blind spots which the AI is unraveling, and then you have a team of people across functions who's then reviewing it and saying, yeah, I've covered my 20%, this covers my 20%, and it's a whole picture. So at that time, you don't need a technical expert. But when it comes to the architect, the AI is still not up there. So you can't expect...
And explain what architect does that AI is limited in doing.
So basically, the Lego brick, you can mix and match the bricks in 1,000 different ways and still create a building. And you can basically give it any kind of form. So the complexity increases because how best, in the most efficient manner, can you translate this business requirement into a solution, ensuring that there is no technical debt, you don't over code it, you don't over complicate it, give the most simplest experience. That's an art and it's a science. It's very deep and it's very specific to how Salesforce operates. LLMs today have a more general knowledge. So what we call is vertical agents, which is basically getting all the knowledge of what Salesforce can do through a RAG-based infrastructure to pull that and then have the humans keep on iterating that, okay, this is where you have gone wrong. So it will still need some level of evolution until then a normal human can
And the RAG process basically ingests and understands your business. I mean, it's already a model. It already has certain understandings, right?
Correct.
But the RAG process helps ingest your company logic and history and
Absolutely,
knowledge,
correct,
so it can
correct.
make those
So
types of decisions.
Salesforce gives a lot of information on help.salesforce.com, Trailhead. There are third-party channels like Salesforce Ben. So it will consume all that information as best practices. And then we are also providing this tool for consulting firms, boutique outfits who do not have enough bench strength, so that they can use it as a productivity tool. So as more and more people use it, as more and more people give its recommendations and refinements, the agents are going to get better and better. And that's a stage where eventually a business owner can also say, okay, I need this process, and then through magic, the
So
thing
in your
happens.
particular case, when you say agent can get better and better, does your agent do better with the next customer, or is it better and better within the customer?
Both cases. It is learning from it, and typically you can't have the whole picture in one single shot.
It's
You'll
like a
always-
BA would, right? From one
Exactly.
client to the next to get better.
Yeah,
Right?
correct. So you're iterating, so it will get better because it is getting more context of this business, more context of what is already being built, and also for the next customer, because if it is already done for an auto or for a non-profit, then it typically knows, okay, if I have to do this for this particular set of criteria, this is the
So
recommendation.
usually as an employee, it's never 100% perfect. You always have some information, but you know what you don't say to the next client. You know, like, okay, well, even if I've done this, I have to redo it for this client because I can't take that work and put it here. How does the agent know to differentiate that? Obviously, you have to give it rules and things, right?
Correct,
So
correct. We basically guardrail it. So basically a prompt-based infrastructure, which is giving kind of a feedback loop. Okay, if it is recommend X, and in this case, so initially there will be a lot of involvement from our team as humans. We have subject matter experts who have decades in Salesforce, who are always seeing what the AI has done and then making course correction. So the feedback loop is given in a prompt way again, so that it is saying, okay, oh, I didn't consider this earlier. This time I will do it. So that's basically.
And then why did you do Salesforce? Was it your expertise, or was that just the biggest problem out there that you,
No,
that you
actually
wanted to
SAP
solve?
and ERP is a much bigger complex.
Right.
So complex the tool. So it's not like the product is bad.
Right.
The product is great, but they are very complex.
Right, right.
And that's the challenge. With complex things take time. You need expertise to do it. So why we chose Salesforce is two reasons. One is that these are a whole different league animal together. So we said, okay, let's pick a smaller one to begin with. You can always consume as a startup, something which you can do immediately. And second one is the CRM space. For customers, CRM is their lifeline. Sales and marketing, if they don't innovate, if they don't iterate on it, so they constantly need to make changes. Unlike SAP, where you won't make that frequent changes.
Right.
An AI agent would make a lot more sense, so that the humans who are constantly billing on a $200 per hour rate, it becomes very uneconomical for a lot of businesses to continue doing that.
So as a customer then, how do I measure success working with you? Like, what is what will I save? Obviously you save money and you get better output, right? And that gap is basically your ROI,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
How do I measure that? What should be my expectation? What kind of, how much percentage time do I save? How much X increase should I expect?
The vision is that what was being done for $50,000 can be done in $500. That's this thing. But what we are currently doing is that the AI is not complete. So then there's still certain layer of human in the loop. So for end customers, if they want a productized service, so in fact we are launching one by next week, in fact. So it's just for $499. You get X number of enhancements using the product, which typically would cost you $5,000. And if it would take you 1 month, it will take you a week. So that's this thing. So 10% of the cost and 1/4 the time.
Okay.
And then 1/4 time only because it's my humans who are doing the rest what the AI cannot do.
Right. Okay, last question, kind of shifting a bit. I work as a career coach, and so I talk to people, early, mid, late career, a lot of mid and late career type of people. They're kind of navigating this new world of work with AI. Obviously, redundancies are happening, layoffs. As a CEO, what advice would you give to people, especially older workers, looking to kind of keep up, to be relevant? What advice would you give? And then what are you looking for when you're hiring people for positions?
Sure. So now the world has become such that humans doing human work is the only space which is left. Rest AI can do almost anything. It can do coding and it can do analysis and all of that. So even in our setup, what we say is that when you look at a consulting firm, and if this is going to do the job of creating the design, creating the BRDs, creating the code, what will humans do? What humans will do is interact with the clients, unravel the unknowns, and basically the change management and all of that. So someone who understands the industry, understands the kind of pain points, and is able to use AI to then solve that pain point. That is critical. So that is something which AI cannot do. AI cannot replicate human level interaction. So that's the part where if you are a psychologist, if you are into behavioral sciences, that is a great leverage, because you know other humans well. So marketers and all of them will really thrive. And this event also, you see a lot of marketers excited to see how can they use more AI tools and really create more value for their customers.
Right. And so sticking with your industry, do you come from an IT services SI type of background?
Yes. So my co-founder is ex-Deloitte and a lot of boutique consulting firms. So we have four co-founders, and each one has a subject matter expertise. It actually aligns to what I am being saying, that stick to one thing, do it really well, and use AI to complement and basically make yourself 10 times productive.
And then, traditionally, I need to kind of, get certification in implementation or AWS certification or something like that. Where do people go to get educated about AI? And what kind of programs do you recommend? Do you say, when you look at a resume, are you looking at a certain type of either experience or certification? What are you looking for to ensure that the person is properly trained or headed in the right direction?
So it's actually a very interesting question, because a lot of people I had come across recently had 0 certifications on Salesforce, but they have experts, they have way better than people who have like 26 certificates on this thing. So many times what happens is people kind of do a checklist.
They're way better in what?
With understanding of Salesforce and then setting it up. So just a very specific example to saying that your certificates do not really talk about your level of expertise you really have, how much of real world projects you have done, what kind of problems you have solved. So getting into the deep of it and then able to solve it. So it's not like you take up a course and then actually the education system itself is going to be
failing us, right?
It's failing big time. So it won't matter which college you are from, how many certificates you have taken, but what kind of real world exposure you have and how you have been able to add value. That is going to...
So just diving in, because all these tools are accessible, right? I could get Python, I could get, an AI agent, I can get no code.
You learn, people can do a free education on YouTube, Khan Academy, and there's so much tools available. So I wouldn't stress on certification, but I will stress more on getting real world skills and get exposure.
So it's your attitude. You can't be intimidated or fearful. You just have to keep moving, right? And that's the only bet, you still may not succeed, but at least you have a chance, right? But if you get overwhelmed and stop and thinking, I've learned this, or I learned that in college, that's not going to get you anywhere.
Absolutely.
Right?
In fact, I've seen a lot of youngsters now getting into internships. Even if they don't get paid, they are working with startups. They say, I love this startup. I want to work and learn this sphere. So that's a very exciting time. So I had not seen that 10 years back. People would always say, how much am I getting paid? So
part of that is also, fear. A lot of young people, they want to kind of get in, get a job, but they know that if they follow the normal route, they may not get something, right? So there's a little fire in them, and the people who are fearful are the ones that are going to succeed, right? You have to run faster. When they say when you're running away from the bear, you don't have to outrun the bear, you have to outrun the guy next to you.
Very true.
Right, okay, good. Well, where can people find more information, get in touch with you, learn more about what you do?
So we are on website cloobot.ai, so check us out.
Can you spell that? Or
Yes. So it's Cloobot, CLOOBOT.ai. So check us on website. You can check us on LinkedIn as well, and reach out to me. Would love to connect and exchange ideas.
Okay, good. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you.